In light of what's been going on this past year, sororities and fraternities of the Greek community have been doing their best to educate members of their chapters about diversity and inclusion.
Just this past month, I believe, all 14 of our chapters now allow women that identify as women to be part of recruitment and choose to join a chapter and stuff. So I think that's great because a lot of other schools don't have that.
WSU Panhellenic and the Infraternity Council has implemented ways chapters here on campus can be more inclusive to people of color.
At least Panhellenic is very inclusive of women of color and LGBTQ women, but I think there's always more that we can do to make women feel safer within our community. And then I know Diego, my counterpart on IFC, is working really hard to combat homophobia within IFC.
The Beta Sigma chapter of Gamma Phi Beta here at WSU has elected 2 women to serve as their Belonging, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion chairwomen. This position serves as a resource to use their knowledge and leadership to educate other members of the chapter on current and social issues.
Our responsibility is basically just to inform the chapter about how to be more inclusive and the concepts of diversity and equity, and hopefully it helps, hopefully my position will help with retention rate, and also just to show girls during recruitment that they can join our chapter and they be okay if they are Black, or regardless of their sexuality, or if they are Asian or Pacific Islander, etc.
On the chapter's Instagram page, they have a highlight reel that has the chairwoman talking about Black History Month, where members could send in questions and be answered by the BEDI officers.
And going back to being one of the few people of color during the rushing process, I remember my family was super against it because I was, one of the few. And I remember just thinking, I want to break the stereotype and, just give it a chance, going against what everybody said. And I think I made the right decision.
I've spoken to men and women who are members of fraternities and sororities here on campus and listened to what they had to say about their experience in Greek life.
Historically, Greek life hasn't always been very inclusive. But I think it's definitely progress is being made, and that's important. I think part of the challenge now is more so the financial aspect of it. But I'm just lucky. I haven't really experienced any sort of racism or stuff like that in my experience. That's been a blessing.
In the end, it's not as bad as I kind of thought it would be. I thought I'd be struggling with a lot more comments and just kind of situations, but they're very small, minimal ones, not to the point where I'm actually concerned for my safety. Just it's kind of little mini comments that sit in the back of my mind. I'm well, that's annoying.
Honestly, the reason why I wasn't going to join a fraternity when I first came was because of that stigma that fraternities have. I'll tell you, my family, when I told them that I was in a fraternity, they thought that I was crazy because no one in my family had ever even thought about joining a fraternity. It's good that they're making a bigger effort to be more inclusive. That's always a good thing.
WSU, Panhellenic, and IFC has stated that their community is meant to be an inclusive and safe space to anyone who joins.